everybody. All aboard!
Hey! Huh? Oops! What? Wow! Yeah!
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 28 of Where Streams Come True. I am your host, Collins. This is the show where we suffer through the entire good and bad of Disney+. Joining me today, as usual, is Cameron, and
Chen.
First time to the show is Chen.
What's up?
What's up? This week, we had the pleasure of watching Season 1, Episodes 1 through 3 of The Simpsons, the 1989 animated series by directors David Silverman and Wesley Archer. This animated comedy focuses on the eponymous family in the town of Springfield. The head of the Simpson family, Homer, is not a typical family man. A nuclear plant employee, he does his best to leave his family.
He does his best to leave the
lead
family?
his family?
Lead his
Is that-
family.
Lead his family.
Oh, I was like, I did not watch the right show then.
But
like,
often finds that they are leading him. Yes, you were right.
Oh.
The family includes loving, blue-haired matriarch Marge, troublemaking son Bart, overachieving daughter Lisa, and baby Maggie. Disclaimer, the show does have some outdated cultural depictions. And first for this show, let's have a trigger warning for child abuse and suicide.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was.
I thought, like,
I
I'm
didn't
going to
realize
have to
that
just...
until the first two episodes, and I was like, whoa. And that came. When did the first episodes come out? Like.
89 and 90.
Yeah,
I
so
believe.
culturally, it was probably way odd to have that.
Yeah,
Especially
probably.
on like
A
national
cartoon
television.
as well.
Yeah.
And we had this question, you and me, Cameron. Why the heck the first episode was a Christmas special?
Yeah.
I was also curious.
I
about
found out
that.
why.
Santa's
I'll
little
have to pull out
helper.
I'll have to pull out my phone
It's
because
because Disney Plus doesn't know how chronology
actually
works.
Disney Plus was 100% correct in this.
No way.
So
what?
the Simpsons originally was a series of animated shorts that would air during the Tracy Ullman Show in the 80s.
Oh.
And then they got the Christmas special, and then technically episode 1 is Bart the Genius.
Oh.
Okay.
So that was the first, and they looked like this.
Right.
Yeah, I remember their art always. The evolution of the art of The Simpsons has been
Interesting.
wild.
Yeah.
And then I've got a picture of male human Ursula from The Little Mermaid.
Oh.
some reason.
What?
It looks real weird.
Yikes.
Okay.
So let's go into initial thoughts. Have you seen this show before, or I guess specifically these episodes? What was your experience first viewing and now returning? We'll go down this way. Starting with you, Cameron.
All right. I have not seen this show before
At all.
at all. I've seen clips, but when I was young, my parents were like, "This is a bad show. Don't watch it." And I was like, "All right." So I never watched it. And I can see kind of why.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah, I think it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an old cartoon. It's classic.
I mean, it's the longest running cartoon show in like
I know,
American
gosh.
history.
32
so, yeah.
seasons. Like,
And they keep coming up with content, which is pretty impressive, I think,
Mhm.
to keep it
Yeah.
going for that long.
also, this is a well-timed episode because Nancy Cartwright, the voice actor for
Oh, my package delivered by UPS.
the voice actor for Bart, just released her master class
Really?
on voice
And?
acting.
That's
yeah.
interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I believe either it was like yesterday. It was like the something anniversary of The Simpsons.
Oh.
Let
This
me-
is a well-timed episode.
Yeah. Let's see. What is it? It's the I don't know. It's some sort of anniversary. I'm not gonna look it up.
Okay.
Everyone's tweeting about The Simpsons, regardless.
Is
of,
it the anniversary of the Tracy Ullman show?
yeah, maybe. Did you have your initial thoughts, Jen?
I didn't grow up watching it. I guess I remember watching it kind of as a kid because my dad would watch it a lot on weekdays just because it was what was on, especially at that primetime hour, like after you're done eating and then you have nothing else on the weekdays, like
Right,
they
yeah.
would fill that slot during the week. But I remember I watched the movie actually in theaters when it came out. So I enjoyed it. It was interesting.
I'm largely in the same boat as Cameron. My parents didn't let me watch it. This is the first of any Simpsons I've actually watched. I believe, yeah. That's the first time I watched.
Oh,
and,
They
what?
literally, here's the thing about this GIF. They literally just stole it right out of like the opening shot. Because
it's like
there's
the-
credits on it.
Yeah.
Is that what that is, or is it
No,
just
that's
a
the
No.
YouTube channel.
That's the channel's
YouTube That's even
watermark.
worse.
Yeah.
I could have given you one that didn't have that.
I thought it was all right.
Well, I didn't do this.
I didn't find it that funny.
I didn't either.
I think it created a formula of like the animated family
Yeah.
that Bob's Burgers did a lot better when it started.
Mm,
And Family Guy kind of attempted.
Yeah, I attempted.
yeah.
Yeah. Because there's similar archetypes, but like I don't know, a lot of the humor in this is kind of mean-spirited towards the different family members.
Yeah.
The first episode's kind of wholesome.
Oh yeah, because they get the dog.
Yeah, and
it was-
he's trying to help his family.
Yeah. That was a good storyline.
But like
The second two
Bart,
were heavy.
Bart is just the worst.
Yeah.
The only like normal one is Lisa, I guess. She's fine, but she's barely in it.
Yeah.
Especially these early episodes.
Yeah.
Especially
That's,
They didn't
these
really
early
focus on her
episodes.
character.
No.
They focus on mischief mostly within Bart and
This
Yeah,
just
it's like
managed.
every episode is like Bart does something, and then it affects the rest.
Homer,
And there's
yeah.
there's never a B plot, really. It's always there's just an A plot.
yeah. I mean,
Like
I
with-
think that's how it is with classic, with like those
Yeah. Like with Bob's Burgers,
1900s
usually like
kind of shows.
there will be an A plot with the parents and then a B plot with the kids, or vice versa.
Yeah, which I like because
I
it
like
keeps you
that.
engaged and
Instead of an entire episode just Bart
where you're
being-
like, stop screwing up.
or Homer being Homer.
Yeah.
Why are they yellow?
I don't know.
Yeah,
That was a
that's
weird
the biggest
color
thing that's
choice.
always gotten me. Why is everybody yellow? Like,
Why is Marge's hair blue?
Yeah, and why is everyone's hair
Yeah.
also yellow? Because there's like white people in the show that like have pink skin, but then you're supposed to assume that they're also white. I don't know.
But
it doesn't
Homer's
matter.
technically bald.
Yeah.
Does that mean Bart's
Bald
also
dude.
bald? Because you see Bart and he has the hair.
Yeah.
And it's like,
It's confusing, but it's an art style, I guess. There's actually a surprising amount of recap for these, especially
What?
the first two episodes from IMDb.
this is just shot for shot.
Yeah, kind of. We begin episode 1, Simpsons roasting on an open fire. Opening credits. The title, The Simpsons Christmas Special, appears on
This
screen
is
against
very
black
in-depth.
snowy background. And the camera pans down to start Act 1.
No.
No blackboard joke or couch gag. Act 1.
oh, that's true.
The
Yeah.
episode
First episode
begins
didn't have that.
as Homer hastily drives Marge and Maggie in the family car through snow-covered streets. They are late for Bart and Lisa's Christmas pageant at the school. Once at the school, Homer and Marge stumble through a full audience to find their seats. Everyone looks on stage as the pageant that has already begun. At the pageant that has already begun. Homer and Marge sit down just in time to see Principal Skinner introduce the second grade that does a presentation of different Santa Clauses from around the world. And Lisa steals the show as Tawanga, the Santa Claus of the South Seas. Cut to Skinner introducing the fourth grade, singing a medley of Christmas carols. As they all sing Jingle Bells, Bart can be heard singing rude alternate lyrics to the song, Jingle Bells, Batman Smells. And Principal Skinner quickly yanks him from the performance with intent for a vicious reprimand.
Oh.
Homer is upset that Bart has once again misbehaved at the Christmas pageant by embarrassing his family, although Marge took no notice of it. The pageant continues on as a bored Homer wonders aloud how long the pageant will last.
I don't
That was
remember the part of Bart
I
not
do.
liking. No, not Bart.
Homer?
Homer not liking that Bart did that. I
I
thought.
don't think, it didn't really seem like either of them noticed. to me.
Yeah.
It didn't. Oh, I noticed it. Where he kind of like grumbled afterwards.
Oh,
they
yeah.
kind of quick. It wasn't clear, but like they cut over to him
Oh.
after Bart gets pulled off stage.
That, I can now blame Bart for everyone's stupid interjection of alternate Christmas lyrics in school.
It's his
like
fault.
The Jingle
Yeah.
Bells Batman smells, and then later in the episode he does the
Robin laid an egg.
he does the interjections in Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, like a light bulb and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Gosh, I hated that so much in school. That
Yeah.
was so dumb, and I would never participate. And no one ever knew the full lyrics to the Jingle Bells Batman smells. They would get to like Robin laid an egg and then not know how it goes on from there.
The Batmobile lost its wheel.
And Joker got away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew that.
I knew, yeah. I know
Yeah.
that now.
I don't know why I knew that.
But
Pretty sure
most
we
of the-
sang the whole thing at my school.
Most of the kids at my school didn't know. They like had like something 1983 or like something P at some point.
Oh,
it was
okay.
Weird.
real dumb. Yeah, as I said before the show, I looked up Tawanga and it doesn't exist.
Dang.
And when people were talking about this episode on Twitter, because it's some sort of anniversary, they said that like nowadays Lisa would not do something like that because I guess she's a different. Her characterization is a little different.
Oh.
She's more of a, well,
She's more intellectual.
kind of. I feel like they would kind of mold her to be kind of like an SJW type
Yeah,
Yeah.
character.
not.
But at the same time, you have to
Whatever
think about it. Lisa's
Tawanga
also in
is.
like 3rd or 4th grade.
Mhm.
Yeah, and
She's a lot
like,
younger in this
spitting
episode
fire
than
and
she is in the other episodes,
Yeah.
Yeah,
which is odd.
But it's funny because in the other 2 episodes, they kind of crafted that intellectual genius part of Lisa behind.
yeah,
Yeah.
Where like she's really smart, but
Yeah.
doesn't get appreciation for it.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that. I don't know if that's how she was in the Tracy Ullman show. Okay. Afterwards, at the Simpson home, Marge writes a letter for the Simpson family Christmas cards, as Homer gets out Christmas decorations and Bart and Lisa write their Christmas wish lists. In the letter, Marge describes how everyone is doing, and she reads the letter in her head as the camera pans around to the different family members as she mentions their names. Bart and Lisa show Marge their wish lists. However, Marge is upset when Lisa once again asks for a pony for Christmas and hoped that Bart's letter would make more sense. However, she's dismayed and insulted when he proves to be just as unreasonable as Lisa when he asks for a tattoo. Both Homer and Marge refuse to allow him to get one unless he's old enough and making his own money. Just then, Marge's sister Patty calls. A grumbling Homer hands the phone over to Marge, and the 2 sisters discuss their plans for getting together on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I thought the whole tattoo thing was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Like the whole plan where it's like,
Homer's like, oh, you'll have to pay for it.
yeah, and he's
Yeah.
like, okay.
And then he was like, wait a minute. It's not how you're supposed to react.
Yeah.
The stuff with the sisters is,
Patty
kinda
and
odd.
Selma.
I don't know what they were trying to do there. It's kind of funny to me,
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about it because it's
but
like,
not that funny.
They get more character
Exactly,
development
that's what it
further
is.
down the
I
line,
think the
though.
funniest part is when they eventually show up and they're like huge. They're just like scaled up. Yeah.
I don't remember
Yeah,
that.
like there's that shot of them sitting on the couch.
And they're so
and
much
they're like
bigger.
9 feet tall.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. They're big.
I very casually watched these episodes.
Yeah. That's good. I was expecting you to take copious notes.
I did
I
take
guess
notes.
IMDb just
I don't know
did.
how copious they are though.
Cut to Homer, who
They're
is
not
outside
at all.
putting the finishing touches on the Christmas lights on the roof as the kids watch from the sidewalk. After Homer falls from the roof, he calls out to Marge to plug the lights in. Plug the lights in. Thank you. Only a few of the lights actually light up, and Homer admires his handiwork, while the kids are less than impressed. Ned Flanders is also outside and ready to plug in his lights for the first time. He calls out to Homer and tells him to check it out. As he plugs lights, his entire house lights up, including a talking Santa Claus on the roof. The lights illuminate everyone's faces, and much to Homer's dismay, his kids are very impressed at Ned's display of lights.
Flanders.
What's the deal with Ned Flanders?
He hates him.
Isn't he that pastor or whatever?
He's a very Christian character that they developed.
Yeah.
Like he's the overtly Christian neighbor that you have.
Yeah.
Which
I gathered that.
is a
Homer
gag you
hates
could
him.
understand more in Utah, I guess.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Well, maybe it's like the what is it, Lutheran or whatever that like always go around to people's doors.
Jehovah's Witnesses?
Jehovah's Witness. Yeah, that's what it is. Jehovah's Witness.
It's like Lutherans don't do that.
Maybe.
One
I
of
could
those
see him being
Christian
made up.
branches. Anyway, and
I
then
thought it was funny when
the
he fell
little
off the
girl
roof.
falls over.
Yeah.
I
Was
thought that was
she?
good. She's like a star, and then she's just like standing on the sidewalk, and she just goes,
I did not see that.
I didn't see
was
that
good.
either.
Maybe. Is it like in the background?
yeah, it's in the background, like in the corner of a shot. She just
Oh yeah.
plants
Yeah,
on
yeah,
the-
yeah, yeah. Like there's a kid walking with his kid. Is that it?
Well, I don't remember. It's at one point outside where they're looking at the lights, and it's
Yeah.
like right at the end of the shot. She just face plants on the
it
sidewalk, and then
Maggie?
it cuts away.
Oh,
The little girl, yeah.
Oh, Maggie. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. Is Maggie doing the like pacifier thing? Is
Yeah.
that supposed to be funny?
that's her thing.
Okay.
She does
I
that
don't-
for the whole show.
Mm.
Last 30 years.
I don't know what that is about at all.
It's just,
It's
Like,
just, it's
it's-
just a running gag.
it's just
like
her.
Homer strangling Bart.
Yeah. I don't know.
Uh,
I wonder if that has any significance.
Homer strangling Bart?
No, Maggie's pacifier. Now
I
that
mean,
I'm
yeah,
maybe
thinking
because
it
I
about
feel like that would have been something like thought through that where
It
they
might
were
be a
like,
Tracy Ullman show thing.
oh yeah,
Because I feel like him strangling Bart must be from that too, because he never does it on screen here. But apparently it's a running gag.
But he
He
does it in the
does it
other
off
two
screen.
episodes.
yeah,
Yeah.
or at least I think he does it off screen.
Yeah, he does it off screen. Anyway. At breakfast, we gotta have more to talk about. This is gonna be a short episode. At breakfast the next morning, Marge tells the kids to grab their money so they can go Christmas shopping at the mall. As the excited kids run off to get their money, Homer asks Marge where she has been keeping the Christmas savings. She makes him turn around, and she pulls a big jar of money out of her hair. Homer is
That was a
impressed at the
funny
large
gag.
amount of money they have for Christmas this year. Later at the mall, as Marge, Lisa, and Maggie look at gifts together, Bart is off by himself and comes across a tattoo parlor. In the window, he sees a tattoo of a heart with the word mother written across it. He daydreams that Marge will have a positive reaction to him getting a tattoo, so he runs inside the parlor, lies to the tattoo artist about his age, and hops into the chair.
I think that was probably the funniest part of the episode.
Yeah.
Because he just runs in and he's like,
Pop
I
in.
want a tattoo. And he's like, how old are you? 21. Okay.
Yeah,
He
I
seems
remember
like
that.
a recurring character. I
Okay.
think I've seen that guy before.
I feel like the tattoo guy looks similar to the comic book guy,
Yeah.
who's like
Oh, yeah.
the comic book guy is kind of similarly shaped. I looked up Maggie as a character
Yeah.
to
Oh,
see.
yes.
So apparently the running gag with her is tripping over her clothing and falling on her face,
Oh,
which they ran
yeah.
a bunch in the earlier episodes.
Okay.
But she hasn't learned how to talk. However, she makes characteristic sucking noises with her pacifier.
Characteristic sucking noises? I didn't get any of that.
Yeah, watch
It's
more
supposed,
serious.
it's supposed
the
to
next
be a
time.
window to her emotions. I thought it was interesting in this that I guess the presumption is that Lisa and Bart don't believe in Santa. Because they write their Christmas wish list, it says, but it's not like a letter to Santa.
Yeah,
they just wrote a
give
list
it
and
to,
give it to the parents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
I guess Santa's not a thing in their house, maybe? I don't know. But like, I kind of like the idea of like, they save up, the kids like have their Christmas money, and then they just like go to the mall and the kids can buy themselves something. I thought that was a neat idea. I've never done that as a kid, but
Yeah.
I kind of like that. Except for the tattoo bit.
How old are you? 21? Okay.
That was pretty good.
The best part about the tattoo scene was when Marge sees him
Yeah.
and then pulls him away and
And
he
it
gets
says
it half
moth.
tattooed and
It's
it's just
moth.
moth. I laughed at that.
It made me wonder like why it wasn't just like mom, why
Yeah.
it's a mother. I guess because they wanted the moth joke.
Yeah.
It's funny. Meanwhile, at the nuclear power plant, Mr. Burns announces over the loudspeaker that there will not be any Christmas bonuses this year for unskilled workers. This includes Homer. Homer sighs as he remembers they still have the big jar full of money for Christmas presents.
Now,
It's the first time we see the nuclear plant.
this is interesting because in the episode right after,
No, it's the third episode.
The
where
third episode.
We focus a lot on the nuclear. plant.
he has like a administrative job or
He's
whatever.
like he's a
Technical supervisor.
technical supervisor.
Isn't that a skilled
supervisor,
position? Wouldn't that
technician.
be? I
I
don't
guess
know.
It's unskilled. It seems like he doesn't really do much.
Have you ever watched Chernobyl?
No.
No. Like the only work,
I only watched the minimum amount needed.
the only like actual work we see Homer do at the plant is like in the opening credits. when
Where
he's, like-
he trips
where
and
he,
then
where he like doesn't even finish it.
the piece of uranium lands on the back of his shirt.
Yeah.
And then he
Yeah.
walks home
Like
with
in
it.
this, like it says like continue working during the announcement, and then
Yeah.
everyone's just eating donuts. I like that a lot.
you're
Yeah,
ever
like,
wondering,
I
that's
remember
what
the
car dealership
reason.
works like. No, I'm kidding.
Oh.
There was like some reason he had for not doing the bonuses for everyone. I don't remember what it was though.
I can't either.
Oh, I thought it was just being greedy.
Maybe probably.
Because that's like his whole
that's
character.
like Mr. Burns'
Mr.
thing.
Burns'
Yeah.
character is being a greedy rich man.
Yeah, he's like a Scrooge type.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Which I'm sure they've done a Christmas Carol with him at some point. Then.
probably. I
Oh,
wouldn't be
100%.
surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would have had to. And like Bart's the ghost of Christmas present or something because he's fat. I don't know. Back at the mall, Marge hears Bart's yells. My goodness, 2 plurals. Bart's yells of pain coming from inside the tattoo parlor, and she quickly runs inside to see Bart with a heart tattoo halfway finished on his arm. She quickly pulls him out of the chair and takes him to a tattoo removal clinic. The tattoo removal is expensive and requires a full cash payment up front. Marge has to use all the Christmas money for Bart's tattoo removal, but she sighs when she remembers they can still use Homer's Christmas bonus. Back at home, Marge tells Homer what has happened, and Homer freaks out. She tells him to calm down and that they will just have to stretch his Christmas bonus a little further this year. Homer fakes relief when Marge mentions his bonus. He tells everyone that this will be the best Christmas ever and steps outside for a walk. Once outside, he looks up at his poorly decorated house and then at Flanders' masterpiece. A depressed Homer hangs his head in despair.
Sad.
It's sad. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how expensive tattoo removal actually is, but
I don't know.
I've never had to get that done.
I wonder if it's easier.
Nowadays, it probably is.
Like, if it's easier, like, if it's only a few hours after you got the tattoo, like if it's fresh.
Oh, yeah.
That is
I did think about that
interesting.
during the episode.
I
but
mean, if it's a laser, it's probably not. It's probably just about the same.
probably. He's gonna have a really. He's gonna like have a doubly sore arm for the rest of the day because he's got a fresh tattoo.
like,
And
Ow,
then you
ow.
got it
removed.
lasered it off. Oh.
Oof. I can't imagine. I've never had any tattoos, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah. Have you had a
Why are you
tattoo?
guys
We're
looking
all-
at me?
You're the
We
one
all
who didn't
gave
say anything.
confessions here.
I've never gotten a tattoo before. I've thought about it, but it just
Yeah.
hasn't happened yet.
I'm too chicken and I'm too indecisive.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Because he's like, that's what we're like when Bart says when he wants to get one is like, it's bright and flashing. It lasts with you the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I went. Okay. Act 2. This is divided into 3 acts. on
Oh my
IMDb.
gosh. No way. Ah.
That night in bed, Marge senses something is amiss with Homer, and she asks what is wrong. Homer almost tells her the truth about his Christmas bonus, but quickly backpedals and instead offers to do the Christmas shopping so she doesn't have to. Marge agrees and seems satisfied that there is nothing wrong, and they both go to bed. The next day, Homer does some Christmas shopping alone at a cheap thrift store. He purchases pantyhose for Marge, pads of paper for Bart, and a squeaky chew toy for Maggie, and I guess nothing for
Yeah,
Lisa.
he got nothing for Lisa. Oh,
on
dang.
on his way out of the door with his bag of presents, Homer accidentally crashes into Ned, who has an armful of fancily wrapped packages. All the presents are spilled onto the ground, and as Homer picks up the few he purchased and sees how many Ned bought, he becomes sad and depressed as he heads over to Moe's. At Moe's, Homer drinks a beer alone when a cheerful Barney walks in wearing a Santa Claus suit. Barney explains that he is in a good mood because of extra money from working a part-time job acting as Santa Claus in the mall. Homer suddenly has an idea, cut to the personal office in the mall, as Homer fills out an application and is interviewed to be a mall Santa. After reviewing Homer's application and interviewing him, the personnel director welcomes Homer aboard and sends him to mall Santa training. A montage of Homer enduring Santa training ensues.
The ho 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 class.
The ho
gosh,
ho ho
that
class. It's so dumb.
Yeah.
Oh,
I liked it. I thought that was funny.
Mm-hmm.
The whole like
We had to name the
name the
The
reindeer,
reindeer.
and when the
Dasher,
kid's like
Prancer, Dancer.
he has the adult.
Oh yeah, he like sits on his lap and he's like,
He's not
Yeah.
the real Santa.
Hello,
he goes to
boy.
punch him.
Yeah. Why he goes, why you little, and then he goes to punch him. Yeah.
Jeez. Bart's got, I guess that's part of his characterization. He has a short temper.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, he doesn't buy anything for Lisa,
Rude.
I guess. Maybe, I mean, Lisa already bought herself something, but I don't think it shows us what she did.
Did she?
Yeah, I'm assuming that she
Oh,
she
with
split
her
up.
own Christmas money, right?
Yeah.
I guess.
The whole thing with the Ned. I got a better idea of Ned's character when he bumps into him. He's like, "Oh boy, which ones are yours? Which ones are mine?" And like, he only has one bag.
And you're just there like, all right,
It's
don't
shut up, Flanders.
Don't be a jerk, Flanders.
That is such a jerk move. I was
Yeah.
half expecting Homer to try and like
Steal
some of his.
Yeah.
Steal some of Ned's
That's what I thought
presents.
was what was gonna happen.
And then like his kid says something when
You
they
dropped your
leave.
pork chop, mister.
Oh yeah, and the kid's like, "This is gonna be the best Christmas ever, Dad."
And you just they're like, stop.
Oh my goodness, you got the whole chew toy
For
for.
Maggie.
He's like, "Oh, it's for dogs." Yeah, she can't read.
Yeah.
I guess that works. I don't know how expensive they are compared to kids' stuff.
Yeah.
I know
It's
that
probably not
For
that
some reason, they make like
Should be
cat
that.
toys more expensive than dog toys, in my experience.
Good.
So
All the more
sometimes-
reason to own a dog over a cat.
Yeah, I mean, we'll just buy dog toys. Cat can't tell the difference. Cat will play with it anyway.
Yeah.
It works. Like my sister's cat has like almost exclusively dog toys, and he plays with them just fine.
There you go.
There you go. There you go. Who else
There you
is going
go.
home? Life hack.
Don't buy into cheap.
PetSmart
buy
is
into it.
corrupt
Big
and should be overthrown.
Big Petco. Let's see. Oh, this is a big paragraph.
Oh boy.
Homer finally makes it home late at night, and a worried Marge wants to know where he has been. Homer ignores her and heads upstairs, but Marge tells him that her sisters are there, and that he needs to visit with them. Oh, that phrase, visit with, I hate that.
Okay.
I've got just bad memories
Oh, okay.
of being bored and visiting. As Homer talks with Patty and Selma, they comment on the fact that the Simpsons don't have a Christmas tree up yet. Homer tells them he was just on his way to go get one, and he angrily hurries out the door. In the car, Homer drives past several expensive Christmas tree lots and finally stops at a private tree farm and uses a chainsaw to steal a nice Christmas tree for the family.
I didn't see that part.
Yeah, he gets shot at while he's driving away.
Yeah.
Back at home, Homer stands up the tree and everyone is impressed except for Patty and Selma. On Christmas Eve at the mall, Homer works as Santa Claus while children wait in line to sit on his lap. From a distance, Bart and Milhouse, and the third kid, who it doesn't name, watch the kids line up to sit on Santa's lap. They comment on how they can't believe that these kids are falling for the fake Santa bit. Milhouse dares Bart to yank off Santa's beard, and Bart agrees. Bart jumps in line and finally gets his turn on Santa's lap, not knowing that Santa is really Homer. Bart yanks off his beard. Bart is shocked at what he uncovered, and an angry Homer escorts Bart inside Santa's workshop, which looks super sus.
Oh,
to
yeah.
speak with him in private. Homer explains the situation to Bart, who
Oh,
understands
man.
and feels bad for yanking off Homer's beard. At the end of Homer's shift, on IMDb it says at the end of the Homer's shift, Bart
The
goes with
Homer.
Homer as he picks up his check. Homer's surprised to learn that he's only made $13. When he
Because of
questions the
taxes.
cashier,
This
She
whole
ex-
scene
she
was
explains
so
the
funny.
majority of his check went to pay for the Santa suit, Social Security, etc. While a depressed Homer sits down to figure out what to do with the $13, an excited Barney tells Homer that he is going to the dog track to place a bet with his $13. He invites Homer to come along with him. Homer is reluctant, but Bart convinces him to go, deciding that this might be their only chance to save the Simpsons family Christmas.
Wow, that covered a lot.
That did.
Yeah, I'm gonna go quick to inflation calculator real quick while you two talk.
Okay. I thought it was interesting that the kids also hated Marge's sisters, because when he was
Oh.
like going out to do the Christmas
Oh,
tree,
yeah,
like,
they
take
ran
us
out.
with you.
Lisa! Oh.
They ran out after him. I remember that.
Yeah, I guess they're just like the people everyone hates.
Well, they're like the in-laws that you have to get along with, which is like a concept I never understood because I feel like my family
Yeah.
gets along really well.
Okay, today he would have earned $27.13, which is still not that much.
Yeah.
All right, now hit it with the tax calculator.
I don't know how to do
The
that.
Santa suit rental, Medicaid, Social Security.
Oh yeah, there's like unemployment insurance was
Yeah,
on there too.
That made me laugh because I was like, that's what my paychecks feel like when I get them.
Yeah, sure does. I don't know if I have that. I work for this school and I don't pay attention to what's in the paycheck.
Well, also, so when he takes Bart into the Santa's workshop,
I thought he was gonna beat him up.
I did too.
Bart never leaves after Homer
He
leaves.
just stays in there.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
So that every-
Continuity.
Oh, and then like when he comes outside, he like bonks his head and starts swearing.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
and all
yeah.
the
And all the
parents
kids
look
like,
at him.
I thought that he was gonna do something to Bart, or he was gonna do something in that would like make him lose his job and not get any money. But instead they're like, no, he got his money, just like only $13.
Yeah.
And they go to the dog races, which
Springfield Downs.
I guess is dog racing still a thing, or is that animal
It's like
abuse?
Yeah, I
mean,
thought that was illegal.
Even
or
by
something
that,
along
but
those
even by
lines.
that point in time, people were like, dog tracks are kind of sleazy, anyways.
Okay.
Oh.
Like it's where you go if you were like on your last dollars, trying to make a bet and trying to
Yeah.
win.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But still definitely
Not funny.
legal.
It's funny in the
okay.
show, kind of.
Yeah.
Dog racing's bad.
Don't
say that to
race
the
your
camera.
dogs, I
That's
guess,
my
I don't
opinion
know.
on the matter. Back at the Simpson home, everyone, including Patty, Selma, and Grandpa Simpson, wait for Homer and Bart to come back. Cut to the dog track, where Barney gives Homer a tip on a dog named Whirlwind. After seeing what Whirlwind looks like, Homer is reluctant to bet on him. Just then an announcement plays over the PA system, announcing that a dog named...
Boom.
Bing.
turn my notifications off. That a dog named Santa's Little Helper will be replacing another dog in the fourth race. Homer senses that the announcement is an omen and decides to bet on him even though Bart recommended not to. And despite the fact that the odds are 99 to 1, Homer puts down all $13 on Santa's Little Helper.
I said, what's 99 times 13,
Yeah.
son?
I don't know how odds work, so you have to explain it to me once I'm done here. Meanwhile at home, Patty and
Don't
Selma
either.
talk about Homer while everyone still waits for him and Bart. Back at the track, Homer and Bart anxiously await the running of the fourth race. As the race begins, Homer and Bart cheer on Santa's Little Helper, but Whirlwind, Barney's pick, is out in an early lead, with Santa's Little Helper bringing up the rear. Homer and Bart quickly realize their chances at winning any money are dashed, as Santa's Little Helper doesn't even finish the race. Cut to Homer and Bart out in the parking lot of the dog track, looking for discarded betting slips, hoping to find that someone has thrown away a winner. Barney drives by in a convertible with a woman in the passenger seat and gloats to Bart and Homer about his pick for the race, Whirlwind. Okay, so what's the deal with like odds? Like,
Well, I looked at dog racing in general. There are
does that
only
have, when the odds are 99 to 1,
I think it's.
what does that mean?
I think
if you put $1 down.
so. I think it's no,
house
it's the
pays
odds
you
of the.
Or is it like it statistically it should win one out of every 99 races?
Yeah, because the other ones would have won a certain amount before, and this one has not. So it's literally like
Okay.
the lowest amount of odds you can get, because he's just joined
and
that
the
night, I
lower
guess.
the lower the odds, the higher the payout.
Oh, this didn't help.
Mostly because
I don't know
people-
how it works with the payout.
because people. I guess you can assume people will.
Oh yeah, I guess you would,
I
because
just noticed the
less
220020 on the whiteboard and I'm confused.
I don't know. Yeah,
Okay.
I guess yeah. If it would be low, it would be lower, so you would
don't
get a
like-
higher
Obviously,
because
none
no
of
one
us
else
are
is
good at gambling.
I looked up how to gamble for how odds work in dog racing, and it makes no sense.
Okay. So if someone wants to explain to us in the comment section,
Always
we can-
vote on black.
yeah.
No.
Isn't that what it is?
Put it all
always
on
bet on
13.
black.
Whatever.
Bet on black.
Come
Put it all.
on.
Don't put it all.
It's always bet on black. That's what Wesley Snipes says in that one movie.
Yeah. Is that
Who?
about?
Where he's on an airplane.
About the
The airplane movie?
No.
roulette.
Snakes on a plane.
Roulette.
Oh, rounders.
Always
black.
bet on black. It is roulette. But you always
Oh,
bet
but
on
he's
black.
he's talking about himself.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it.
Good job, Wesley
I was
Snipes.
trying to figure out which gambling game it was. Like, oh right, it's Wesley Snipes.
I don't know. What's going on?
I like Lisa's little retort at Patty and Selma, and they're just
they were making fun of her dad,
yeah,
and
it
she was
like,
like,
Oh,
"Use
yeah.
my model of manhood."
That's what
and
I said
an
is-
attack at him is an attack at me.
is how they started cultivating that kind of like child genius
Yeah.
around her, where she's very self-aware of everything going on.
Yeah, and she'll just
But
say,
everyone
like, that's
brushes
esoteric
it off.
concept. Like, watch the movie. And the
Yeah.
grandpa's acting super weird.
Grandpa's always a weird character. Do you
What's-
remember this? You never saw the Simpsons movie, huh?
Yeah, you're
No.
sitting with two people who haven't seen the show.
Grandpa's the whole reason the Simpsons movie happened.
Oh yeah.
I thought,
Kind of, partially.
isn't that the one with the dome? And then they,
Yeah, he has a breakdown where he starts screaming, "Eepa, Eepa, the end is near."
Oh.
It was during church. I don't remember what triggered it.
Okay.
But EPA stands for the EPA, which is when they sealed
Okay.
Springfield off in a giant dome.
Oh,
Yeah, it's really crazy. I need to
Okay.
go watch that movie again. I haven't seen it in forever.
oh, I guess I can put some sort of list together that'll have that in it.
Just put it on your list and maybe
Wheel.
we'll watch it.
Yeah, and then I'll come
physical
back
wheel.
for the episode.
How are we
where
gonna do the wheel on this set? It's behind the curtain. That'll be it. Back to the. Okay, I already read that. I thought it was interesting. Also, like the way the dog race worked was they had them follow like a robot
rabbit.
Yeah.
That's how dog racing works. Is they launch a rabbit and the dogs are trained to chase after it.
Okay.
What?
It's greyhound racing.
They're not trained.
Wouldn't they all be like going towards the center and then like climbing over each other and then like? I feel like there'd be.
You can't train the dog to race. You can train the dog to chase something. You can train a horse to race.
Well, you also
Dogs have
riding a
spatial
horse.
awareness. It's not like they're gonna be like, "Oh shoot! Oh, I ran you over."
I feel like a dog would. My dogs do
train a
that
cat.
all the time. They run each other over.
But your dogs aren't. The specific type of racing I'm assuming is greyhound racing.
They look like greyhounds.
So they're
Okay.
dogs that are bred specifically to do this sport.
I would
So
say.
they're bred specifically to not run over each other.
Yeah, probably.
I would say you can't train a cat, but my sister has successfully trained her cat to sit, jump, lay down, turn around, and like do a bunch of stuff.
All right.
That's dope.
Yeah.
I don't know how she managed it, but her cat is fully trained. She can just sit and he'll just. It's bizarre.
It's got to be the most obedient cat there
I
is.
know he's either really smart or really stupid. I'm not sure which one. I had a train of thought, but I lost it. A dejected Bart and Homer head back to their car when. Oh wait, does it say? Yeah, they're looking for slips that someone may have thrown out
Yeah,
that
they were
line.
looking for winter slips.
Oh.
It took me so long to figure out that's what they were doing. I thought they were looking for like spare change or something. Anyway, a dejected Bart and Homer head back to their car when off in the distance they see a racing dog owner yelling and chasing off Santa's little helper for losing once again. Santa's little helper jumps into Homer's arm. Bart asks Homer to keep him.
Yeah.
IMDb writes it down as Bart asks to keep Homer if they can keep the dog. That's why I don't edit these, because sometimes it's funny. Homer, reluctant at first, quickly warms up to the dog and decides to take him home. Cut back to the Simpson home, where everyone still awaits, my goodness, Bart and Homer's return. Suddenly, a sad-looking Homer enters in and starts to confess to everyone about the fact that he didn't receive his Christmas bonus and apologizes for the lack of presents. When Bart bursts in, along with a barking Santa's little helper, everyone falls in love with the dog, and Homer realizes that in the end, he has done a good job providing gifts at Christmas. End credits. The credits roll as the entire Simpson family, including Patty, Selma, and Grandpa Simpson, sing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Near the end of the song, Homer ends up strangling Bart for adding unofficial rude alternate lyrics to Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. My goodness.
I don't know if those are rude though.
Like a light bulb.
Not really. And
They're just
he
annoying.
He says
Annoying,
some different
yeah.
ones like, you'll go down in history. He says like Attila the Hun or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In my school, it was like Columbus was the line there.
Yikes.
I don't think I ever. did
yeah,
that
it's a yikes. Oh boy, we did not know at the time.
Well, yeah, he was a good guy when we were kids.
When
Yeah,
we
he
were
was a good
kids,
guy when
and
we
then
were
everyone
kids.
was like, "Hey, this actually happened."
Yeah.
With the whole
He was never a good guy in Spain.
no, and then we were like,
It
"Oh,
was the U.S. that decided to make him a hero.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I mean, Attila the Hun he's the one that like 90% of people on Earth are related to because
he also murdered babies."
he also murdered babies and he equal parts murdered and made babies.
I guess he
Circle of life.
I guess he gave back what he took. Yeah. Oh, jeez.
I don't know if that's true or not, but there's that. It's like an urban legend that like everyone is a little bit related to Attila the Hun
That's like
'cause he got around.
Oh.
whatever Spanish commander landed in the Philippines.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
the same. It's the same rumor, just like that.
I can see that.
So I don't know if I'm getting this confused with another episode, but does this one have the bar fight?
I don't know.
There's a bar fight.
I feel like I remember there was a bar fight.
There wasn't a bar fight in any of the episodes I've watched.
I don't remember one.
I also watched the 4th episode just in case we skipped this Christmas one, so it might have been in that one.
Maybe.
Yeah.
This did answer a question I've always had. 'Cause for a while I've known that their dog was named Santa's Little Helper, but I
Oh,
never
okay.
knew why.
See, I knew that because I'd watched the show prior.
Yeah.
So then when I watched that episode, I was like, oh.
So they keep that part of continuity, even though it's one of those shows where they're just repeating the same year over and over again, but more
Right.
modern.
Well, they have to be getting older because I feel like Lisa is a lot older in the newer ones.
She's just more mature. It's one of those shows where everyone stays the same age, but
Yeah, dude, Maggie's been a baby for the last 30 years.
yeah. Like they do the same thing in Bob's Burgers, where like everyone stays the same age, but they'll keep continuity for some reason. Like
I love
ever
that show.
since like the
That's one of my favorite cartoon shows.
there's the one episode where it's like a BronyCon episode.
Oh
where-
my gosh.
Where Bob gets a partial brony tattoo, and he
brocephala.
still has it.
Yeah. Oh, he
Even-
does?
Yeah, yeah. If he ever has his shirt off in an episode, it'll have that on his back.
That's so
Even though they don't really have continuity in the show,
Huh, they keep little things like
they
that.
keep little things like that, and like the stupid urinals that Felix put in their bathroom.
Oh, yeah, the black bathroom.
Yeah, the black bathroom. Like they keep that.
That's such a good show.
Watch Bob's Burgers.
You
man.
should. That's
so
that's
good.
honestly worth it.
On to, I don't remember how we did TV shows before. Did we do like a moment of the episode for each episode, or did we just do a moment of everything we watched?
I think we did a moment of each episode. I
Okay,
feel like
yeah,
we did.
then we'll do that. Episode 1, your moment of the episode.
Oh, man. Wait, I should let you go first.
Yeah, I can go
Okay,
first
you
if you
wanna
want
go
to think
first?
about it. Yeah, obviously mine was the tattoo thing where he's like just runs in.
Jumps into the chair.
Yeah, I'm 21. All right, whatever.
Jen?
I think it was also something similar to that, or trying to think. When he started singing the alternate lyrics, I laughed because I was like, I
Yeah.
haven't heard this in forever, and
Yeah,
I
that
started
was-
singing along
good
with
one.
him.
Yeah.
Mine is going to be Lisa's speech to the
To
sisters
the
Oh, yeah.
sisters.
about how
About
her
how
father
men-
shapes her view of
Yeah.
manhood, and an insult on him is an insult to her. I thought that was funny. Okay, episode 2, Bart the Genius. Opening credits, blackboard joke, I will not waste chalk. Couch gag, the family runs in and sits on the couch. Bart is squeezed out and up into the air and doesn't come down until the camera cuts to the TV. Act 1.
I didn't know that they did it the whole show. Like I knew that
Every
that was a
episode
thing
is
that they
there's a
did.
couch
What, the
gag?
couch gag?
Yeah, I
and they
thought
got
that
more
was-
and more elaborate as the show goes on.
I thought that was something that they only did in like the later episodes. I didn't know they did it the whole
The only
series.
one I was aware of was the couch gag. I don't even know if it's in the show, where Rick and Morty show up and kill them.
I've
on
seen that
accident.
one, but I don't know if it's in the
That's
show.
the only couch gag I've seen, because they like crash in and they splatter the family and they try and reconstruct them. But I don't know if that's in Rick and Morty or in The Simpsons, or in neither.
I mean, there's the same thing where like they do. Family Guy's done like crossovers with The Simpsons.
Yeah.
So like
So
they've
it is
also done
possible.
couch gags with like the Family Guy family, and then
Right.
they're like, wait a second, something's not right here.
That's funny. Act 1.
Act 1.
Episode 3 is only like 4 paragraphs. It's not as detailed. The episode begins as the Simpson family plays Scrabble in the living room in an attempt to build Bart's vocabulary for his aptitude test tomorrow at school. The game ends when Bart cheats and makes up an imaginary word, Ouija-bo, and defines it as a big, dumb, balding North American ape with no chin. Homer is instantly angered and chases Bart out of the room.
Quidgy on the loose is what he says.
Yeah,
That's so good.
that was funny. The Ouija-bo. I was half expecting it to be a real word, and they do like again with Lisa being a genius because she uses id as a word.
Except they're all 2-letter words. Every single one of them uses a 2-letter word.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he uses Ouija-bo. And like
Ouija-bo.
Bart's like, what am I gonna do with all these letters? And he has like a full word spelled out. I don't remember what it was.
Oh,
but-
Homer did, and it said oxidize.
Oxidize. That's right. Am I getting Homer and Bart's names mixed up? I think. I am.
Yes, you are. I did that a lot too,
Awesome. I'm gonna set this down because I keep.
but
fiddling
then I
with
got
it.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, for some reason, I don't know, Bart just sounds like a father kind of name.
It really doesn't to me though.
The only exposure I had to Bart before this, little side tangent, is he shows up like twice in South Park.
What?
Yeah, but he's drawn in the South Park style,
Oh.
and he's like bragging to Cartman about all the pranks he's done, and Cartman's like, I tricked a kid into eating his own parents. And Bart's like, oh.
Okay.
Oh, I guess I'm not that cool or whatever. He's like, yeah, like I graffitied the school principal doing this. It's like, yeah, well. Gosh, that episode is messed up. The chili episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know the one I'm talking about, where the kid's like, he's gonna put I'm not gonna say it on the podcast, some nasty thing in Cartman's chili. Cartman finds out, and as revenge, he makes the kid think he's gonna swap the chilies, and so the kid like thinks he's outsmarting him by swapping him back. But the chili he ends up with is his parents ground up into chili, and then he eats it. And Cartman reveals to him that he's like licking up his tears of sadness. And so he tells that to Bart Simpson, and Bart's like, "Oh my." I guess my show is more tame than I thought. Anyway, the next day before class, in the schoolyard, Martin Prince, the school genius aside from Lisa, tattles on Bart for, I love Martin's voice. It's so annoying.
The high-pitched.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For spray
Mr.
painting
Skinner.
graffiti that defames
That was really
Principal
good.
Skinner. On the school building, there's Principal Skinner, I am a wiener, even though he
He's like, you
misspells
spelled it
wiener.
wrong.
Yeah.
Skinner orders Bart to see him after school. This also sounds sus nowadays. The whole like same time, same place. I was like, ooh, that doesn't need. Well. As the children file into class, Miss Crabapple, Crabapple, thank you, hands out aptitude tests to everyone.
It's spelled crabapple, but they pronounce it crabapple.
It's kind of spelled Crabapple because it's Crabapple.
PPLEY?
PPEL.
Crabapple.
Crabapple. When she instructs the class on taking the timed intelligence test, Martin raises his hand and reminds her that Bart is supposed to face the window during any test so he can't cheat. A grumbling Bart turns his desk to face the window, and the test begins. In an attempt to figure out a lengthy math word problem, Bart attempts to visualize the problem so he can solve it. The visualization turns into a daydream, and when Bart finally comes back to reality, Martin announces that he has already finished his test already. Miss Crabapple sends Martin outside to read a book.
Imagine having a kid like that in your class.
I
would
had
beat him
those.
up, dude. I'd be so annoyed.
During the
Yeah.
remainder of the testing period, while Bart is still taking his test, he looks out the window to see a smug Martin sticking his tongue out at him. In retaliation, Bart makes faces back at Martin. Miss Crabapple spots Bart making faces and looks out the window to see what Bart is looking at. While all back is turned, Bart, who is seated at the front of the class, reaches over to Miss Crabapple's desk and steals Martin's test, replaces his name with Bart's own, and then puts the test back on her desk. Bart then quickly fills out random answers on his own test and then writes Martin's name at the top and turns it in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me fix my
I was
microphone.
hoping to see what happened to Martin. Or Martin's
Yeah.
reaction to getting the bad test.
That would be a good B plot. That's what
Yeah,
they should have done.
Okay, I actually think there was a B plot at some point because
Do they add B plots later on?
Kind
In-
of. They have to. The storytelling gets more, I feel like, more complex.
in the
Okay.
episode description for this, when it spun off from the Tracy Ullman show, it says that Bart is moved to a school for gifted children when he switches aptitude tests with another boy, who is assigned to vocational studies and dishwashing.
Oh.
So I don't know if that was cut out of the episode, but apparently that's what happens to
Oh
Bart.
my gosh.
Vocational studies and dishwashing.
So sad.
Oh no.
Like, I don't know about you two, but in my elementary school, I had kids like Martin and kids like Bart. Like kids who had to like
You had both.
face the wall,
Yeah.
and ones who were just insufferable know-it-alls.
Like, you're like, shut up.
And I was in the middle, so like I was getting bullied by both because I was getting bullied by the jocks who did. Jocks not quite the right term for elementary school, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like the bullies who like didn't do well in school, and also getting bullied by the ones who did well in school. So it was like sandwiched between the two of them. Like, what do you want from me?
Yeah.
You had kids like that?
Yeah. I was probably the smart one though.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right,
Yeah.
Cameron.
I never.
Well,
I don't think
there wasn't
I
a
ever
lot of like
tattled on people.
there wasn't a lot of like bullying and like stuff at my elementary though. 'Cause
Oh.
it was like a private school, so most of us were
Oh.
on the smarter end anyway.
He went to the school
Cameron
for
was in the
gifted
gifted
kids.
school.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, he did have to deal with stupid elementary school bullies. What was I gonna say? I lost it.
I don't know.
Um,
I liked how they visualized the word problem for him.
Yeah. It's just
And
too
I
much.
thought it was
Oh,
really
yeah,
interesting.
that was really cool.
Because I was like, that's how I felt when I was a kid reading those problems. And I
Mhm.
never really thought about that.
Well, here's the thing with me is never in my school experience have I ever seen the train problem. That's always
Oh.
like memed and stuff. Like this train is going this far in this direction, and this train is going. I never had that problem in any form. I had
Really?
word problems, but
See,
never the train one.
No, I
I-
had the train
And
problem
I don't
before.
know how to do that problem to this day.
I think
Like-
I had it once. It was in junior high, and it was an extra credit problem, and that was it.
I think it may have been sort of like a meme at the point that I was in school. Maybe, I
yeah.
don't know. I'm older than both of you, so
That's true.
maybe they started using it again.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
After I was, I don't know. Also, don't really remember aptitude tests. in
Yeah.
I don't
elementary.
remember. I
Or
remember
maybe I just
taking.
always did bad on them.
I remember taking state mandated testing.
Yeah.
That was like normal. Like we called it. Crap. What do we call them there?
So the SATs?
No, we called it like the
There was
STAR
something-
test in California.
There was something before that, like you take in like 6th grade.
Oh.
It might be different between states because you guys went to.
I took the ACT in high school, but
Yeah.
I did take something at the end of elementary. I don't
Yeah,
remember
I
what it
think
was
I
called.
remember that, but I also remember not caring at all because they told us it doesn't matter. And I was
Yeah,
like,
which
all
like
right.
they do in this. Although like she has that fun line of like, it doesn't matter except for determining your future financial success and social life. That's a good.
Freaking
It must be different between states because I went to
Yeah.
elementary school in Maryland where I remember we had to do state mandated testing, like that would help figure out. It would place you somewhere. I don't know. It was like It wasn't like placement testing. I don't know what you would call it. I guess it was aptitude testing.
They like
Yeah.
put you in a different group.
Maybe.
They're
Or
like,
they'd-
here's the
I
smart
never
group.
had a kid that like went to a different school.
Yeah.
I had kids who like their parents
But
took them
in
out and put
Maryland-
them into charter schools.
Exactly. They had a
Um,
public school system, but then they had what they called magnet schools,
yeah.
which was designed specifically for like the smarter kids to go to
Yeah.
and stuff.
Interesting.
I guess in my neighborhood, it wasn't necessarily for smarter kids. The charter schools were more for the rich kids.
Also that.
So like it would be a flex on the parents' parts to put their kid into a charter school.
Oh.
Yeah.
I always saw the
then you'd
charter
never get
schools
to
as
see your
less
friend.
than. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know the difference between a charter school and a private school.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think the charter school was like Catholic or something.
So I guess for us, we had a difference between public schools and magnet schools in Maryland. Magnet schools receive specialized funding for specialized programs,
Right.
like STEM programs or whatnot,
Interesting.
that kids could go into.
That may have been charter.
Maybe. And like Utah is also weird because
Magnet schools accept students via a lottery. Some may require an interview or an entrance exam.
a lottery.
What?
Those with performing arts programs may require an audition. Magnet programs
Oh,
also reserve
we
slots.
had magnet schools here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I almost went to one.
Magnet schools also
But
reserve
then I
slots
just
for.
wasn't good
I
enough, I
had
guess.
a thing like that I exploited to get
Huh.
into the high school I wanted.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
like,
Really?
like an international baccalaureate was what it was called. And because my jurisdiction of where I lived was going to go to Woods Cross High School, and apologies, school sucks, or at least did when I went to that. Again, not sorry. And so I enrolled in IB and took the aptitude test for that, which then let me go to Bountiful High.
Mm.
And then I dropped out of it. But I was already enrolled in the school, so they just kept me there.
Interesting. They're called magnet schools because they draw students from across the normal boundaries defined by school
That's dumb.
boards.
Yeah, that's really dumb.
That's really cool. And one weirdness with Utah while we're talking about schools, because I was always confused watching any TV or reading any book because they always had middle school. But for the large part here, we have junior high instead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Elementary school, junior high, high school.
I had middle school. And you guys, your junior high goes till 9th grade, does it not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Elementary is K through 6.
6, which is.
Junior high is 8 through 9, and then high school is 10 through 12.
We were K through 5,
Yeah.
and then 6 through 8,
Oh, really?
and then 9
yeah,
through
like
12.
I remember reading books, and they'd be like, "Oh, I'm a 6th grader, and I'm going into middle school," and I'd be like, "What? We don't have what? What is this?"
yeah.
It's confusing. Anyway, back to the episode.
Utah's weird.
Utah's weird. Yeah. I don't know why it does. It's a whole thing. Later after school, Marge and Homer are called to Principal Skinner's office for a meeting about Bart's behavior at school. I've had those. Skinner informs Marge and Homer about Bart's graffiti from earlier that morning. I have some stories I'll tell you. As he reaches for Bart's rather extensive permanent record. Permanent record? Is that what it calls it? I don't know.
That's going to go on your permanent record. They used to threaten you with that.
I remember being explicitly told that your record gets thrown out before you go to middle school. Like, for me, it was 5th grade. 5th grade, like, they wouldn't keep anything from your previous classes.
For us, it was throughout high school. Basically, by the time you became a senior, you were ready to graduate. But if you did something really big and stupid, then they would keep you from walking, or if like you failed your classes.
Right. He reaches for Bart's record and is about to suggest something along the lines of expulsion for Bart. His secretary buzzes in and says that Dr. J. Lauren Pryor, the school's psychiatrist, he gets a middle initial, is waiting to see him. Dr. Pryor walks in on the meeting and surprises everyone when he tells them that Bart is a gifted child. And according to the aptitude test from earlier, Bart has an IQ of 216.
912.
Dr. Pryor suggests that Bart's history of bad behavior stems from a lack of interest in his schoolwork due to the fact that it is too easy for him. Skinner wants Bart retested, but when Dr. Pryor suggests moving Bart to a school for gifted children, Skinner jumps on board with the idea, and Bart quickly agrees when he hears that the school doesn't have much structure, that you get to make your own rules. Dr. Pryor hands Bart some paperwork for the gifted children school, and he, Homer, and Marge leave the meeting stunned. In elementary school, I never had principal meetings with my parents. I remember having a meeting where my kindergarten teacher wanted to hold me back because she thought I wasn't ready to go to 1st grade, which was dumb because she didn't believe ADHD was real.
Oh,
real reason behind it. She thought I was just slow.
I had a complete opposite.
Yeah?
They were like, hey, before he goes to 1st grade, you might want to get him tested for ADHD. My parents just never did.
Interesting.
Until 5th grade.
Is someone gonna... Hello.
Hello,
We're
we
just
are
gonna keep
recording.
talking. We're just going to pretend we're not here.
Okay.
So...
Yeah.
I had...
So you never got in trouble is what you're saying.
I did get in trouble. In junior high, I got in trouble quite a lot for various reasons.
I mean, it was junior high, so, you know.
Yeah, for like climbing to the ceiling of the bathroom.
How did you climb to the ceiling? Did you do like the door thing where you like...
Yeah, we like do that. Yeah, I did that. I got in trouble for that. There was this one kid who was a bully, and I wasn't a snitch, but I would try to get him to do stuff that he would get caught
get him in
for,
trouble.
that I wouldn't snitch.
Nice.
And he would then whine, and then I would get in trouble. And I would get these slips that I was supposed to give to my parents, but I never would.
Nice.
The only meeting I did have was in 8th grade when I was getting bullied by this group of kids where like I would go to class, like I would, there was this class that was like a computer class that you had to like walk down a hallway to get, and there was a bench by the hallway that I would sit there and wait for the door to be unlocked, and then they would sit on it, and then they would shove me against the armrest, so I would always have bruises on my side.
Ooh.
And then one day I just grabbed one of the kids' head and smacked it against the brick wall.
Ooh.
And then he grabbed my head and then went like bam, 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 and then we went to the principal's office.
Jeez.
And I came out of it scot-free because my dad had to go to that meeting, and he had some strong words to say about the experiences I was having in junior high. And I was the only one who didn't get in trouble for that, but all my bullies did get in trouble, and it was very vindicating.
Nice. Justice.
Yeah, nice.
Justice. Not Bart, though. Bart doesn't deserve justice.
That was a wild story. That reminded me of my friend who got suspended.
Yeah. I never got suspended.
Well, there's this kid that was bothering him.
Yeah.
And he said, look, if you don't stop bothering me, I'm going to punch you.
Yeah.
And then one day during lunch, this kid keeps bothering him. He just goes off, socks him in the face, and he got in-school suspension for 2 days.
That's funny.
And I remember, because this was in high school, and we had like an administrative principal. We had our principal, but then we had the principal that was in charge of like student conduct.
Yeah.
And he's the one that you saw, like if you
Right.
if you did something like you punched a kid or you got into a shoving match or something stupid like that. And I think he asked my friend, who's like, so was it worth it? And he was like, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Totally. I would say mine was worth it too. There was a group of kids who all got severely suspended because they decided to play like a pantsing game during recess in 8th grade or 9th grade.
Oh my god.
And they were pantsing people, and they got in real big trouble for that. How about your private school?
Yeah.
You have anything?
Mr. Fancy Pants?
No, I don't think I ever,
Right.
no one ever got in trouble. We were all too good, I guess.
I don't think I ever got in trouble in high school either.
I don't think I ever got in trouble in high school.
At that
Nothing
point,
I can
everyone's sort
remember.
of grown past that.
I just grew to ignore most of my classmates that would do stupid stuff like that.
Yeah.
Where you were like, that's dumb.
Yeah. Geez, where did we? Okay, yeah. He's going to the school. Act 2.
We went on a
The next
tangent.
morning at the breakfast table, Marge and Homer hover around their new genius child, and Homer tells Lisa to start eating what Bart eats for breakfast so she can become a genius too. So sad for Lisa.
I know, I felt so bad for her.
Unfortunately
Yeah.
for him, she isn't fooled by Bart and knows that he is still just a dimwit. She mentions that no aptitude test can change the awful truth that he cheated by copying off Martin Prince.
Did she specifically say that? I don't.
remember her saying that.
Yeah, because there's no way she would have known that.
Maybe. I don't think
I can't
so.
remember that detail.
Because then
She
he would have.
says that no amount of aptitude test can change the fact that you're an idiot.
That's
yeah,
probably what
that's
she
what she
said, yeah.
said.
This is just IMDb editorializing again.
Come on,
You
IMDb.
always gotta add in dumb stuff. Oh yeah, and like she doesn't get any recognition for how smart she actually is.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, oh, you could be as smart as Bart if you eat this.
And you're like,
Like maybe it's some of the chemicals that are in this that are making him smart. Which-
Also, this scene shows his hair because she like combs it down the middle or whatever.
Yeah.
and then he pushes it back
that's
up.
what
Yeah.
explain the hairlines again. Because
Yeah.
Homer's bald.
So he has some
He's
sort
got
of.
he's got like those zigzags on the side and a bit on the front,
Mhm.
on the top. So I'm assuming he's got like that, like he's balding.
And then like the weird comb over kind
Yeah,
of
he's got, like, a bit of a comb
strings
over.
of hair or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like Bob's hair and Bob Barker's, but better. Bob's hair is better. This is worse.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
And I'm guessing like his weird mouth is supposed to be like a 5 o'clock shadow. is
Yeah,
what
that's what I always
assumed.
thought it was.
Oh.
Because like when I was a kid, I thought he had like ginormous lips or something. But I'm assuming it's a 5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah, I
That'd be
hope it's a
constantly.
5 o'clock shadow and not lips.
That would make more sense.
He looks like an alien. It's so weird.
All right, Colin.
I think he's the only one that has that too.
He is. He's the only character that has the weird
Yeah.
outline around the mouth.
Does anybody have like a beard?
The comic book guy does.
Yeah, and it just looks.
Oh, is
normal.
it just that weird like goatee thing?
No, he's got the mustache and the the sailor does. That's another recurring character.
Yeah.
Which you
There's
don't
a lot
see.
of recurring characters.
I don't know any of these
You need to
characters.
watch more of The Simpsons.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe.
30 some odd seasons and you've only seen 3 episodes. What a shame.
yeah.
After breakfast, Homer takes Bart to the Enriched Learning Center for Gifted Children. Once inside the school, they find Bart's class, and after peeking in, they see all the boys are wearing ties. So Homer gives Bart the tie he is wearing,
the clip on.
Yeah.
and he gives
Let
Bart.
me teach you how to put on a tie.
He gives Bart a little pep talk about his first day at the new school and shoves him in the classroom door. Once inside the class, Miss Mellon, the teacher, introduces. I'm surprised they didn't make a joke with that name. The teacher introduces herself and the new classmates to Bart and shows him around the classroom. She tells Bart about the independent learning, that the only rule for him is to make his own rules. Class begins with a debate on the topic of free will and the paradoxes that it creates. Bart struggles to understand the discussion. Later at lunch, his classmates realizes that Bart isn't really as smart when he accepts the ridiculously uneven offers. IMDb, thank you. Example, 1,000 picoliters of milk for 4 gills worth. A gill is much, much larger than a picoliter.
Thanks, IMDb.
Thanks, IMDb.
Oh
I
my
couldn't have figured that out on my
gosh.
own. He dejectedly walks away from the lunch table as the other kids laugh at him since he's a laughing stock of the school. Bart soon comes to regret cheating off Martin during the aptitude test.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean,
For a school that's supposed to not have any structure, there's an awful lot of structure in
I know.
there.
It
Yeah,
sounds like they're structuring.
she was like
a
immediately
lot.
like, "Take your seats, everybody," and they all took their seats. And I'm like, "What? She's a teacher now?"
Yeah, like,
She's supposed to be an assistant.
well, she says,
Yeah.
find your seats, which I thought was dumb.
Yeah, I mean,
Was your school like that, Cam?
no, I mean there was definite rules. It was a lot like a public school. It's just everybody was a lot smarter and more dedicated to school, I guess.
Oh, okay. This is what we're going to make fun of Cameron for,
Yeah.
from now on.
Private school kid.
Learning more about you and your private school kid. I wonder how Martin would have gotten along with the kids if the test hadn't been switched. I
He
think
probably would have just fit right in.
Yeah.
he either would have fit right in or he would have been very antagonistic with them. Maybe.
Oh yeah, like all of a sudden he's not the smartest kid on the block anymore.
Or that, yeah. What
I'm
if they
surprised
did
that the kids get along as well as they do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
I
think
guess-
they're all really self-centered?
Yeah.
Like someone.
And they're
we
having
know- I'm
the
kidding.
debate over whether free will exists.
I don't know. I think
Come on.
I've been in smart classes before, like AP classes where like everybody is like the
Yeah.
smartest kid.
I've been
And
in IB.
They just kind of, and they, I think it's just like
Joke.
everybody understands where everyone else is,
Yeah.
and so they just kind of like, oh, we're now normal.
Yeah.
So I think maybe that's just how it is.
Because
It's
no
just
one
like-
else is really out of the norm,
Exactly. So it's just.
which is where
just-
bullying will tends to
Yes,
occur.
it's interesting because it shows that like bullying can occur on both sides.
Anywhere.
Like sometimes it'll be the people who don't do well in school will be bullying anyone who's smart or a nerd. But then you switch it, and the nerds are bullying the one who doesn't fit in. So really, the stereotypes are kind of there, but mostly bullying is about whoever doesn't fit in within a certain group.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is interesting, because I feel like my high school didn't have bullying, but then I talk to other people, and they're like, "Oh, we have bullying," and I'm like, "I didn't see it." Then like it wasn't prevalent to
My
me.
high school didn't really have that much bullying.
Like I wasn't surrounding myself with people that would do
Yeah,
that at
like
that one
elementary and
time.
junior high, like
Obviously,
all day, every day. But like once I got to high school,
boys turn into Neanderthals when they get to
The-
middle school, dude.
yeah, like
like
Yeah.
it felt like all of the cliques had enough space to really be in their own area. We need to put a sign up, I swear.
I know.
All the cliques had like the building was big enough, and there were enough classes that every clique was in their own
Their own
space,
little area.
and they wouldn't really go around bullying the other ones. Like
there's no need to. It
Yeah.
just started unnecessary drama.
I
Yeah.
saw one case of bullying, and it did not go well for the bullier. He was trying to like pick on one of my friends, who was a nerd. He was with the group that would like play Halo during lunch on the school computers, but he was also on the wrestling team. So he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna see if I can choke you out," and like he just got bopped right in the face by my friend. He was like,
What did you think was gonna happen?
"What did you think was gonna
Yeah.
happen?" Like, and the teacher didn't care.
The teacher was like, "You learned your lesson."
Yeah, that's about all that happened there. Anything else about the learning center?
The chairs.
The stupid. Oh, the chairs were weird.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
I
like-
don't remember anybody else's, but I remember when Bart
Okay, there
sat down, I
is-
was like, what is he sitting on?
There is something I was gonna bring up.
Oh
that does come up
right,
later.
that weird like
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he sits on like a stretching machine or
yeah.
something.
Yeah, I don't, it's,
I don't
I
know.
don't
I don't
know.
get
It's
it.
weird. Anyway, what were
Anyway.
we going to say?
Act 3.
Oh.
I was gonna say something, but it actually comes up later.
Okay.
After school, Bart relaxes in his room when Homer walks in to see about his first day at the new school. Homer suggests they all go out for frosty chocolate milkshakes, and Bart agrees. Just then, Marge walks by and tells Homer and Bart that she bought tickets to the opera in an effort to try nurture his brain, even though Lisa has previously warned her not to because she still suspects Bart cheating off Martin. I don't know, she doesn't specifically. Despite
Yeah,
that, she
come
went
on.
through with her mother's plan to see if he would crack under pressure and confess to the family. Later during the opera, bored and impatient Homer and Bart goof off and cut each other up, even though they are continually shussed by an upset Marge. And like Lisa joins in on the jokes too.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say Lisa started laughing when they were making the fart jokes and
Yeah.
the not until the fat lady
And then
sings.
like Flanders is there, isn't he?
no, it was Martin's dad was there.
Oh, Martin and Martin's dad.
Oh my
He was like, who are
gosh,
these
okay.
people?
yeah.
That was pretty funny. And, like they don't even stay through the whole thing. They leave.
In the middle.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're like, oh, there's the fat lady. Let's go.
It's like, is she fat enough for you? Yeah, I guess so.
It's a pretty good
And
joke.
he starts
Yeah.
like making up lyrics to the song as it's going.
Oh yeah.
That was all right, I guess. Cut to the next day at school, where Bart feels even more stupid and left out when he can't understand a calculus problem on the chalkboard. Later, as he sadly walks home from school, he passes by the playground of his old school, where Richard, Lewis, and Milhouse are shooting marbles. When Bart greets them and tries to talk to them, they treat him like a nerd, call him names, and tell him to get lost. Cut to later at dinner, as a depressed Bart eats, Marge reminds everyone they can't be late for the film festival that she bought tickets for. As another way to nurture Bart's brain. He's reluctant to go to the festival, and Homer tells him they don't have to. Just as Bart is about to tell Homer what's on his mind and confess about the false IQ test, Homer insists on going outside to play catch. After playing catch, Bart sees how much being a genius means to Homer and decides not to confess about what he has done out of fear for disappointing him. Which is really just how unhealthy their relationship
I was
is.
gonna say, yikes.
Yeah, I have to say that too. The calculus problem was stupid, but because the joke was a pirate joke when it was RDR.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, RDR.
And everyone gets it, and I'm like, even if I could solve the problem, I wouldn't.
I would've been
immediately
like-
think it's a joke.
I would have been like, that was stupid.
Most math jokes are like that. They're just like,
Yeah,
ha ha ha.
that's how I
guess.
would have faked if I was Bart. Well, she would have explained it, and I would have been like, "Oh no, I just didn't know how it was funny."
Yeah, like
And then be like, because it's not. Oh, like her sense
Yeah.
of humor and the kids, like. I think she fits in with those kids a little too well.
yeah.
Not in that way, but like,
Oh jeez.
I don't know
didn't
in what way I mean.
like.
Of like the pretentious.
No.
Yeah. She's just like way too.
She's just as pretentious as
Yeah,
the kids
yeah.
are.
Yeah. And I feel like she probably doesn't get along with other adults because she needs people that are her speed, which is like smart but also like mean-spirited about it. Which kids are perfect for that.
Also, I didn't ever think of a film festival being like a smart person thing. Like,
It's funny you mention that.
The 48-hour film.
When I was when I was at UVU
Okay.
for one class, we had to go to Sundance,
hmm.
and it was so boring.
Oh
like,
man.
The short films I saw were terrible, and I ended up stuck.
Well, when did you go? What times did you go?
Like what year or like what?
What
time?
the time of the viewings of the films? Because there's like different times.
Yeah.
So which time? Because like if you get them like during like the middle of the day and stuff, I heard that's like the worst time for films.
That's probably when it was.
and so
Like,
you
I
get
was
like
there
the
all day,
worst
and,
films. Oh.
in the morning, I got stuck in some seminar or roundtable conversation about copyright law.
Oh,
Which is
man.
so boring. Like,
Oh.
how to go through this in the industry. And I really didn't have a handle on my social anxiety at the time. Still don't, but it was worse back then. And so I just stayed through the whole thing because I was
Oh.
like, I'd have to walk in front of people to get out, and then that would seem rude. So
Oh,
I just
yeah.
stayed through the whole like 2
I probably would have
hours.
done that too.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh, and no, none of it's visually stimulating.
Maybe I guess it's
I
just like
did
the opera.
see
It's
George
like kind of
Lucas,
high
though.
class.
That was cool.
You saw George
I
Lucas?
didn't meet him, but I saw him.
Was
He
he
was
walking
there.
around?
That's cool.
Yeah, he was going into a restaurant.
Have you seen this SNL skit making fun of him during the they're doing Star Wars auditions?
Yeah.
And
Oh,
they just
yeah.
had George Lucas standing in the corner going, "You will
I'm
get
not
me a
George
Coke
Lucas.
Zero."
Oh my gosh.
I find your like a
There's-
Coke Zero. It's
There's
so
that
big.
one thing that came out recently of like.
Oh, he was
some-
like in the doc, like
yeah, it
in
was
the
like,
documentary.
There's some random documentary, and he's just like walking down the street behind the person who's being
So good.
interviewed, and just like, like a cryptid, just walking in the back, and he like ducks into a building,
Oh,
and no
it's so
one
good.
realizes it's him. That was really funny. Cut to the next day. No, I did that one. The final act.
Yay! This
The
is
next
only
day
episode
at the
2.
Gifted Children's School, while performing a chemistry experiment, Bart accidentally causes an explosion, which results in green goo everywhere. Cut to Dr. Pryor's office, where a green-stained Bart meets with Dr. Pryor. They discuss the reasoning behind his recent failings at the new school. Dr. Pryor thinks that once again, Bart isn't challenged enough, while Bart suggests that he just go back to Springfield Elementary again. When Dr. Pryor wants to know why, Bart makes him an excuse and tells him that he would like to go undercover and study regular kids in their school environment to see what makes them tick. Dr. Pryor agrees and tells Bart to write up a proposal to present to Principal Skinner while he goes to talk to him. Bart struggles to write a proposal and instead changes his mind, and writes his confession. When Dr. Pryor comes back in the office and reads Bart's confession, he suddenly realizes that he was never a genius, but began on, and Martin was a genius all along. I think he could have BS'd his way out of that whole thing.
Yeah.
But, like,
If he kept it going.
yeah, if he had been like, he's like, you know what happens, you mix. I was like, of course I do. I was like, yeah, I knew that would happen.
Yeah.
But I mean, he does the right thing. I do see the idea that he had of like going undercover, which would
I want to
essentially-
study what the normal children are
yeah,
like.
which would I think like his plan there was to be able to go back to his old school, but not be required to do any work.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
his work is studying the kids, not doing the homework.
That's smart.
That would have been smart. But judging by the fact that he didn't know how to spell confession, it probably wouldn't have
You spelled
panned out.
confession wrong.
My goodness.
Oh man.
I haven't seen past in the show. Does Martin stay at Springfield? Or
Yeah,
does he...
he's a recurring character too.
Okay, he doesn't end up going to the gifted school.
Or the school for dishwashers or whatever.
And Miss Mellons doesn't, or just Miss Mellon, I mean, doesn't show up again.
Not that I know of.
That would have been where they would have made
definitely
a joke.
not
It's just
Miss Mellons.
Mellon. My goodness. Later at home, a still green-stained Bart greets his parents, and Homer offers to give him a turpentine bath to wash off the green. That sounds painful.
That's a good way to
Yeah.
find all the cuts on your body.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
Oh.
Out on the backyard, as his father gives him a bath, Bart confesses about cheating on the aptitude test and tells Homer that he loves him, and that he's enjoyed the extra attention from being a genius. He tells Homer that he doesn't think something that has brought them closer than they ever were before could be bad, but Homer doesn't see it this way, and he chases Bart out of the tub trying to choke him. Bart is too quick for Homer and runs into his bedroom and locks the door. An angry Homer pounds on Bart's door and tries to coax him to coming out, while Bart taunts him from inside his room. Everything is back to normal in the Simpson home. Not a good normal.
Good old child abuse.
Yeah.
Just good old little child abuse.
Child abuse has returned to the Simpson home.
There's like, I saw one meme that I guess was in like a recent episode where Bart like where Homer like breaks the fourth wall, and he goes like, and that was the one instance of child abuse became a well-beloved running gag.
Oh.
I guess they still do that, maybe.
Yeah. I think
Turpentine bath.
Oh, sounds so terrible. It smells so terrible too.
Okay, I needed to look something up because I had a similar. When you said like a way to find all the cuts in your body, when I was on my mission in Indiana, I
You served a
encountered.
mission?
I did. I encountered a very. I had to look up an alternate, what the scientific name for it, because the slang for it sounds like a slur, but is spelled differently. So I'm not going to say it out loud.
what?
You can show me the spelling.
Yeah, let's.
Chigger is what the bug is called.
Oh, yes, yes. I know those. Yes.
Yes, but
Oh.
the technical term is a trombiculidae. It's a.
Beer.
Yeah.
Damn it! I can't, it still sounds wrong. I don't know how to pronounce.
I didn't know that was.
Bleep that.
See, I didn't know that was the slang.
Trombasulidae? Trombasulidae is what it is called.
All right. Sure.
No, that's just the family of mites. The specific thing is actually called that.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
So that means you can.
Beer.
I don't want. No, I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it because it sounds.
Hold on,
wrong.
what'd you just call me?
Trombasulidae is what I will call the bug, and essentially they're like a tick. They're kind of like a tick.
Oh, so
Instead of like burrowing in their head and leaving the body, they burrow fully into your leg.
Oh!
And like I would be like picking at the scabs.
Wait, you
And
got
then-
them?
Oh, I got them all over my legs.
Oh my gosh. Oh
And
no.
So like I thought I would just have a scab, and like the scabs would never heal. The scabs would just keep peeling off and bleeding, and then reforming because they are alive inside of your legs.
I hate this so much.
Anyways, on today's episode of
How'd you get rid of him?
Mr. Sting.
Alcohol. You have to use rubbing alcohol on your legs, and it kills them. But it also gets into all of the wounds from them. Let me just check effect on humans. Yeah, it's the
They
rash.
give you Lyme disease
I
too.
freaking hate that so much.
Just a little guy.
It's like that like
It's the scarabs from the mummy.
It's like that
The
trypophobia or
digestive
whatever,
enzymes
like the
in the
holes or
saliva
whatever.
cause
You don't
It's
like
like
having
that
holes?
feeling.
Itchy
Like, I don't know.
welts.
It's the same feeling.
hot
it's like-
showers of batch can review. Yeah.
It's like the scarabs from the mummy,
Yeah, you have to suffocate it.
Yeah.
where they burrow into your skin and then eat your way out.
Oh
Really
my gosh,
fun.
those are some bad pictures. Yeah.
Oh, you looked it up? Oh.
I had it. So
Oh.
I have a bunch of circular scars on my legs from
So
it.
you still have them? I was like, no.
No, I just got a bunch of scars on my legs that are like perfect circles.
Yeah, I'm out.
Your legs have to go into quarantine.
Anyway, Bart got a turpentine bath and then got beat up. Okay, episode 3.
What's your
Homer's
favorite,
Odyssey.
wait, are we doing the favorite?
Oh no, yeah, moment of the episode.
Yeah.
Not when you talked about the bugs.
Not when I talked about the bugs. Because like even if like the people listening understand that that's not what the word we were saying was, I don't trust YouTube.
Yeah.
They're saying this isn't family-friendly content.
So yeah, it's gonna get bleeped out.
All right, that's fine.
I can spell it though. I'll keep that in.
I guess my favorite part is just the when he like threatens to choke him and he's like, "Please come out."
Oh yeah. Please come out. I changed my mind.
He said, "You really think I'm dumb enough to fall for that?"
That's a good moment. Good Jen.
The word problem scene. I really like how
Okay.
they visualize that.
That was
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. Or when he looks at the little girl's hamster and he's like, "What a cute hamster." The teacher's like, "We actually infected it with this virus.
Oh, yeah, we're
Don't
gonna
get too
dissect the other
attached. We're
one."
gonna dissect him on Tuesday."
They gave like one polio, I think, or
Yeah.
something, and then the other one was the control one, which they're gonna dissect. My moment of the episode, I didn't think about this ahead of time, was what?
What? Don't show me.
Well, stop saying it. What are they called?
They're also called berry bugs.
Berry bugs. There we go.
Also known as
Stop saying it.
We all have to say it. Cindy, come yell. Anyway, do you have a favorite moment of the
Do I have
show?
a favorite moment of the show? I liked when he the exterior shot when he blows up the school.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was funny. And then when it cuts to him, he's like, "We're not necessarily angry at you for this." That was pretty good. Okay, now episode 3, Homer's Odyssey. Bart and his class at school trip end up going to the Springfield nuclear power plant on a field trip. Good job, IMDb. During the trip, Bart sees Homer and gets his attention. However, this causes Homer to crash the cart he's driving, causing a major mishap at the plant. Homer's supervisor then has Homer fired for his negligence.
So they didn't
covers a
wait
lot.
very long to play on the whole Odyssey gag.
I wasn't paying attention to that. But does he go through the beats of the Odyssey?
I don't know, but Homer's Odyssey sounds
I don't
like
think.
isn't that the Greek?
Yeah, that
is it
is.
actually
Yeah,
Homer,
but I
like-
don't
Yeah.
know if this episode plays off of the
is-
Odyssey.
I don't think
itself.
it does.
Sounds like it would be. I don't know.
It doesn't end with him murdering a bunch of people.
Or
I feel like there's something there. Other
No.
than just
His
calling
name
it
is
an
Homer?
Odyssey rather than like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think so.
Anyway, he like sings on the bus.
Oh my gosh, the kid.
that you have to sit next
The
to.
kid. He has
Oh,
to sit-
yeah.
That's so funny.
He said, "Why do I have to sit next to Wendell? He throws up on every bus ride."
And then they get to the end. It's like, "You made it, buddy." Smacks him in the back and he vomits. And everyone rushes out of the bus.
Oh, that's so good.
Oh my gosh! And then the two twins like kiss him on the cheek to get him to talk.
Scream, so he
like,
has to sing.
We're gonna make you
You
sing. And then their
sing.
dad works at the plant.
He's the safety supervisor or whatever.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
his dad is the technical supervisor / supervising technician.
Yeah.
Which is that's a fun joke. And like when they're like, oh, like our dad says that your dad doesn't do anything.
anything at
And like, oh, I
work."
thought you were gonna insult him. No, that's true.
Yeah, then they go to
Anything else
the
there? Yeah.
plant.
Yeah. What does he do when he breaks the thing? What is that? Is that
What
a
do you
vent?
mean?
He crashes into like a steam pipe, which steam is what powers the turbines.
Oh
and-
right. Oh yeah. Okay, we get the whole
Oh,
explanation of how the power
yeah.
plant
Which is
works.
Forgot about the
funny
whole
because
video,
They do
yeah.
that video, and then at the end,
What is- I wish I went on a field trip like that as a kid. None of our field.
really, my friend, he told me because he went to school in Roy,
I don't.
and he was
remember
like,
a
the
lot of our
worst field
trips.
trip we went on was to the oil refinery,
But like
where they
get to
base.
see this cool video.
He
That
and
sounds
said
these-
kinda
these
dumb.
Cool
You
chairs.
sit in the bus for like an hour so you can go to a place and sit in their uncomfortable place and watch their video when you
He-
could have done that at
Honestly,
school.
I'm trying to remember a single
When he
example of a field trip I went on, and I'm coming up blank. I
When
know
he
I went
went
on
to
them, but I
Dude, me
can't
too.
remember.
Yeah.
he was like, look, they told us basically, don't don't touch anything, don't look at anything. You have to stay on the bus the entire time.
I remember my sister.
I was like, that sounds horrible.
I remember
Yeah.
my sister going on a field trip to the sewage plant, and then when I went on that grade, because there's like fifth graders get to go on one field trip or something. I don't remember. But when I went on my field trip for that grade, we went somewhere cooler, but I don't remember where it was.
We have to go to the. Well, I mean, I grew up in Maryland, so we got to go to like the Air and Space Museum, which was really cool.
I think I went there for my
the Hill Air
when-
Force
Yeah.
Museum. Yeah,
Yeah.
we probably went there. I remember my
Yeah,
mom
but
was
ours
chaperone
was
for a
the
bus.
Yeah,
National Air
yours
and
is way
Space
cooler because
Museum.
ours is in the middle of the desert.
Anyway, anything else there? Nope.
We went on cool. Whoa, I went on a couple cool field trips. Now that I think about it,
I can't remember any.
I got to go.
Let me ask
We did
my
a
sister real
weekend field
quick.
trip where we went to Catalina, and everyone got seasick. That was gross.
You had a whole weekend field trip?
That wasn't even. It was like a week. Like we did like the 7th graders did like a 5-day trip to Catalina
What?
where you went camping and you learned about marine biology, which is actually really cool because we got to go like snorkeling and stuff.
What?
And I went to school in a really rich area.
What the heck? We didn't even
We
get
went
more
to-
than like 2 hours of a field trip.
The,
It was
the
literally
other
like
field trip we
there
went
and
on
back.
was like a 4-day, and it was to a place called Astro Camp, which is up in the mountains.
Yeah,
And
we
you had-
never went on multi-day trips.
Oh my
it
gosh.
was so cool.
And
Except
you
for
guys say I'm preppy. Good
Yeah, I knew-
gosh.
that's it.
week
Thank
long.
you, Sarah. She brought up that she had to go to the sewage treatment plant. My trip that one, we went skiing at Powder Mountain.
That's
And
way
that's
better.
what we did for our field trip.
Oh my gosh. Actually, I think I did that, but it was like the end of the year kind of thing.
I almost got left behind there because I decided it would be fun to go up the mountain for a second run down. And they were all waiting for me, and they were all very mad because apparently, I guess there may have been some instruction on like pick a hill, go down it, and then come back to the bus. But like,
Oh.
I took my sweet time. I went on the bunny hill, got my
Yeah,
bearings.
warm
and then
yourself
I-
up.
Yeah, warm myself up. Then I went down. I was like, you know what? That's fun. Let's go down again. Went to This Is the Place Heritage Park and Hogle Zoo.
Yeah, we
Oh
went to
yeah, This
Astro
Is the
Camp.
Place. I remember. I worked at This Is the Place Heritage Park for 10 years. I worked there from when I was 4 to 14. And every time we went on a field trip, my mom was there in costume, and it was awkward.
Oh man.
We went to the Museum
Or like
of
they'd be like, "Oh,
Tolerance.
are you gonna dress up as a
Museum
pioneer,
of
Collins?"
Tolerance?
I'm
Yeah,
like, no,
it's
I'm-
basically a very large Holocaust Remembrance Museum, which
Oh.
teaches tolerance in a very.
Oh.
It's in like Beverly Hills.
You don't have live actors?
No.
Okay, we did.
Oh, jeez.
I was a live actor.
Oh.
I have a friend
boy.
who does that. He does a live actor on the Jupiter train, out in Corinne, and he gets to act like he's driving it.
We,
Oh.
we quit when it started getting stupid when they like wouldn't let us have open fires for cooking anymore.
Oh, that's lame.
And like they had this like proprietary in-park currency for the employees to use. You couldn't just go to the store and buy
Be
something.
like, hey, here's
was
real
like-
money.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
always like go to the mercantile and buy some candy, and they're like, no, you gotta earn your park bucks. Stupid.
Yeah, that's dumb.
And then they like added this train that went around, which was just a Ford with like cardboard over it to make it look like it was a train, and then train cars attached to the back of it. So stupid. Anyway, field trips. Homer attempts to find another job in the wake of his firing, but all the attempts lead to nothing. Feeling as a failure, Homer attempts to throw himself off the Springfield Bridge.
Oh, man.
However, his family finds out about his attempt and rush to his aid, almost getting hit by a car. In the aftermath, Homer then declares that the intersection they were at is dangerous and needs a stop sign. Yeah, I don't think this is based off the Odyssey, because I don't think Odysseus tries to kill himself at any point.
Yeah,
I think.
I can't remember that.
He,
I also can't remember Odysseus going to a town hall meeting trying to get a stop sign. I could be wrong.
I never read the Iliad.
You never
so-
read the
We had
the
to read the
Odyssey is a
whole
different
thing in
book.
like 11th grade.
Dang, how long is it? Isn't it like
I
real
read.
long?
We had to read the Odyssey's not too long. It's
Yeah.
long.
I don't think
had
we
to
read
read
the-
that in junior high.
I don't think we read the Iliad. I think we read the
I
Odyssey.
read the Iliad voluntarily.
I thought about it,
And it was
was-
boring.
and then I was like, I'm
It was
not doing
boring
that.
and very erotic
Yeah,
and violent.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. There's that joke that the most inaccurate part of the Troy movie is that Achilles is straight. Is the most inaccurate part of the
Gosh.
movie. Oh my gosh, that book. Everyone's with everybody. And because I thought it would be like Lord of the Rings, that's why I read it, and it wasn't. It was more boring.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I still haven't read Lord of the Rings. I've only read The Hobbit and The Silmarillion, which is really dumb.
So I think
I
what
haven't
was
even finished the
to
Hobbit
only do
yet.
both of them. It's so short.
in the episode, I think
Yes, let's talk about the episode.
what
are the
was
other jobs
what's
he
interesting.
applies for?
Well, what's interesting when he tries to kill himself, because I don't. There's another boulder there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
there
someone
was.
else tried to kill themselves as well, I
They
guess.
failed or something?
I don't
Or
know.
did that mean they succeeded?
I don't know. 'Cause
Well, they
if
must have
succeeded,
failed
then-
because the rock didn't go into the water, which is the whole point.
Or they
or
something else?
they also decided not to.
Yeah,
Mhm.
something else saved them.
So that's like the almost suicidal bridge.
The interesting thing is, I don't know. I noticed this because there's a bridge near where I live called Suicide Bridge, and
Oh no.
the artwork of the bridge that they drew Homer on looks very similar to that.
Oh, interesting.
Oh,
Yeah,
where's this based in?
Springfield.
Well, where
I believe
where
there's a theory.
like what?
Where is Springfield?
You're welcome.
It is intended to represent any town USA, not to be a specific real town, but it is inspired by Matt Groening's hometown of Portland, Oregon,
Huh.
Okay.
and Mike Scully's hometown of Springfield, Massachusetts.
Well,
so,
there we go. Maybe they found your bridge and was like, yeah.
Yeah, it's not like Bob's
That's a pretty
Burgers,
bridge.
where-
It's just really.
again talking about Bob's Burgers. That one's obviously inspired by
You
like
should go watch Bob's Burgers.
by, like-
it's a good show. Seaside town,
seaside town like San Francisco type thing.
where they have a pier.
They have a
I feel like it
pier.
was also like New Jersey kind of because Linda's
Yeah.
accent.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It could be either coast, I guess.
Oh yeah, this was also in the 90s, and I
Yeah.
feel like suicide was probably still a very taboo subject. So it's interesting that it was
Yeah.
drawn into.
It feels.
But this show also wasn't as culturally significant back then as it was nowadays
Yeah.
either.
It feels very Simpsons to do that. Like I feel like that's what they do a lot.
Is suicide?
No, like just like tackling
Edgy
subjects.
humor.
Yeah, edgy humor and like tackling subjects
Yeah.
that most shows don't.
Yeah.
Not quite South Park, but
Yeah, in a milder way. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that
In a
makes
more
sense.
family-friendly setting.
yeah.
so he declares this town needs stop sign.
Oh yeah, because he almost gets hit like 6 times.
Yeah, his family.
Twice.
And like the physics of it are weird because he like has this boulder
And
he
then
hits
like
his
yeah,
family,
stretches
and then he
behind
like
him,
the boulder like swings around and then like launches them all back. It's super weird.
yeah.
Slingshot.
Slingshot.
Don't if you're gonna tie yourself to a boulder, don't tie yourself with a bungee cord.
Okay.
Or
That's
do
what the
tie
rope was
yourself
acting
with
like.
the bungee cord.
I guess.
Well,
I
So
don't know.
Homer next appears before the city council and gets his stop sign proposal passed. This then leads to Homer becoming safety conscious and eventually leading to a group to protest better safety conditions at the nuclear plant. We'll get like all the different newspaper clippings of him doing new signs.
oh my gosh! I'm like, please stop.
My favorite one was like the sign ahead sign
Yeah.
that was alerting to the next sign. And like he's in the park and he's got a sign for like there's like all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how City Hall works. I guess you can do that.
That feels very accurate. I've been to 2 city hall meetings, and
Fancy
Sounds so
boy.
both
boring.
of them were just as accurate as that city hall meeting. Like
Yeah.
literally nothing happened.
Can we just get a stop sign on the corner of the street?
And they're like, "Yep, all right, meeting
Mhm.
over. Let's go to dinner." Yeah, that's how it is when you're in a small town. Like nothing happens, and there's like they just kind of
In
chill and do
Eden, a
whatever.
lot of times, sometimes people will just put those signs up themselves.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like
Huh.
we've got a dead end sign that we just screwed to the back of a stop sign, so people will stop driving down this dead end street and driving back.
Oh,
Didn't
nice.
ask for approval for that. Homer, they do the protest at the power plant, and he's leading this whole revolution thing.
Oh yeah, they're
Anything
like
else? Anything of note there?
No.
Okay.
no.
This catches the attention of the plant's owner, C. Montgomery Burns, who requests an audience with Homer. Burns is willing to make Homer in charge of safety at the plant if he will tell the crowd that the plant is actually safe. Homer considers this, but claims that to say that would violate his moral principles. This impresses Burns enough to say he's willing to give Homer the position, and Homer tells his followers outside about his good fortune, and they cheer him on. The end.
That was so dumb.
I knew that was gonna happen. That he would be like, "We'll give you your job back." Okay, but
Well,
like he
I
stuck
mean,
to his
like-
guns a little more.
Yeah.
To me, it felt dumb.
voice
Not like
crack.
that. It was the whole like telling the crowd and then them being pleased that he got a job. I was like, what? I feel like I would be mad if I showed up to a
guess,
riot and they were like, the guy was like, "I'm gonna stop now because I got a job here," and I'd be like, "What? We're gonna shut
guess-
this
Okay,
place
but
down."
his job was safety coordinator, which is
Yeah,
what
he
the
becomes the,
people
new
wanted.
safety
I
supervisor.
don't know. I feel
So,
like I'd still be mad
his,
if I was
his
in
goal
that crowd.
was to make the plant safer, and
you just want to go out and cause destruction.
Well, if I
huh?
was in that crowd, that would be the mood I was in.
yeah,
I'm like,
just
I'm here to wreck.
I don't think that would be wise to do at a nuclear power plant. Just go around wrecking.
Yeah.
Have you heard of a place called Chernobyl?
Okay.
Well, that didn't happen at Chernobyl, though.
No, they tried to perform a safety test and they blew up a reactor instead.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
You guys should watch that show.
should watch that show.
It's
Probably,
worth it
yeah.
on HBO
It's
Max.
not on Disney Plus. Not allowed to watch it.
But it's HBO Max. It's a really good.
We got to make a
I still have to
partner
get through
podcast to
Mandalorian
this
before I
where
can.
It's HBO.
It's a
Max.
really good short series that covers how the Soviets. This has nothing to do with what we're talking. Well, nuclear plants.
Yeah. it's
But
all-
it talks about how the Soviets
We've
really tried to
gotten more
cover
off
it up.
topic before. You're fine.
Yeah.
It's a good show. It's very well made.
All right.
I've rewatched it twice.
Moment of episode 3. Cameron.
My moment is it's just a very wholesome moment. There's a point where Marge is talking to Homer. That's it, Homer, and they're like, he's like, "Oh, I'm just a waste, like all these signs." She's like, "No, you had that sign where there's like, you're like warning people that little in the road."
I remember
I
that
like that.
too.
I don't know. I just like that. It was
The little dip in the road.
Yeah.
Mm.
all right. I think it's your
Okay.
turn.
I don't really know.
I have one. If you want to go last?
Sure.
Mine is what was the kid's name on the bus?
Oh, the
like
kid that throws
Wendell,
up.
Wendell.
Wendell. Yeah, when Bart slaps Wendell on the back and then he throws up. That's my favorite. That's my moment of the episode.
That's so cruel.
Yeah.
I think it's funny they made him sing on the bus.
Yeah.
Like that's a weird punishment. Imagine if you.
I've never seen that be a punishment, but like I've read it in a book.
Oh, really?
Like a fictional book. One of those young
Like,
adult
she was
novels.
like, "We're gonna make you sing." And I was
where
like,
they have to
Public
sing in front of the- Or like
humiliation.
there's this teacher who has like this wheel of punishment, and one of them is to like sing in front of the class.
"Oh."
And the kid like goes up, but like makes it super funny when he does it, and the teacher is even more mad because like you're supposed to humiliate them.
That's like when I had an English teacher who got annoyed that me and my friend kept disrupting the class
yeah.
because we were sitting next to each other. So she moved him to the other side of the classroom.
Oh, I
Which,
had
if
that
anything,
happen,
made
yeah.
that worse because then we would just silently do things at each other.
Any final thoughts before we rank this sucker? And I have to figure out how to pull that up on your laptop.
Wait, did you do your final, your
moment?
Yeah,
Did
your
you do
moment?
Yeah,
Yeah.
making when he sang on the bus.
Yeah, we sang on the bus.
Oh, okay. I thought we just
'Cause
did
I
that
thought that-
because he was talking.
Now it is time to rank the film. I will be putting the ranking up here. Take a look at that.
I think we should put it between Cars and Hatching Pete.
Right,
That's a
right
good
there
choice.
at number 10.
Right there in the middle.
True. True. Cars has got Life as a Highway. Simpsons doesn't.
Exactly.
Hatching Pete. Hatching Pete
Hey.
was awful. And I'm pretty sure Hatching Pete also had child abuse.
Oh boy.
Oh.
Maybe. I don't remember.
Just right there with the child abusers.
Yeah. Now for some quick film information statistics. Episode 1 was written by Mimi Pond, Matt Groening, James L. Brooks, and Sam Simon. Episode 2 was written by Matt Groening, James L. Brooks, Sam Simon, and John Vitti. Episode 3 was written by Matt Groening, James L. Brooks, Sam Simon, Jay Kogan, Wallace Wolodarski, and John Vitti. For being the weakest episode, it's got the most writers, in my opinion at least.
Well, typically having a lot of writers is bad.
Yeah, I could see that. It also feels like it's shorter, but I don't think it really is.
Yeah, it does feel shorter.
Episodes 1 and 2 are directed by David Silverman. Episode 3 was directed by Wesley Archer. Episode 1 was released December 17th, 1989. Episode 2 was released January 14th, 1990. And episode 3,
Hey.
January 21st, 1990.
January 14th. That's very close to
Today. This is
Yeah,
one
so
day after.
that's probably the anniversary.
Of when
it was the
Simpsons
14th
started.
of when the first Simpsons first aired, yeah. Because the Christmas special doesn't count. That was the first episode.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. So
I
we
guess.
just passed it. It was
Yeah,
yesterday.
we just passed it. Happy birthday.
Woo!
Runtime of 22 minutes average. IMDb score of 8.7 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes scores, 85% critics, 76% audience. A little low there. Bechdel test. Nothing on the website, but best I could surmise is episode 1 gets a pass with Marge and Lisa talking about her present list.
Ponies.
And
Oh,
the
yeah.
ponies, and I believe they talk at the mall about something. And the other two, they're either talking about Bart or Homer, or they don't talk to each other at all, and they're pretty much the only two female characters. Aside
Yeah.
from Miss Mellon, but she doesn't really talk to anybody.
Yeah, she
Nope.
just talks about math.
RDRR.
RDRR.
Oh my gosh.
So stupid. Now it's time to spin the wheel. This week's wheel was submitted by email by Fiza. That's F-I-I-Z-A-H. And it is the My Watch List wheel. Chen,
Ooh.
first time on the show, you get to spin the wheel. So right over there.
Ugh. I don't like doing my own stunts. Nah.
Yeah. Got to send, have
Now
to
you
send a
can put
waiver
that in
for
your
that, though.
resume.
Not that I do stunts.
Yeah, you do your own stunts.
All right, tell me how this operates.
You gotta yell yeet.
Yeah, you got to
when
yell
spin
yeet
it.
as you spin it as hard as you can. It's a big wheel.
Yeet!
You have to commission a new wheel each time. All right, take your seat. And looking at that, it is Hamilton 2020. So this is the Disney
Yes.
Plus.
Yikes.
This is not the ripped off recording that you have on your Google Drive from the Broadway show. This is the recording from Disney,
That's right.
which
Amazing.
With real cameras
which
that
takes
really
out
work in
some
real
of the
life.
naughty words.
What? They
Really?
do?
Yeah, because
They shouldn't do that.
they dropped the F-bomb a few times in the show, but it's
But Disney has to be.
cleverly censored in the Disney Plus.
Cleverly, like Splash cleverly.
No,
Splash
more
Mountain.
like they just changed the lyric of the song,
Oh, okay.
or they say like "fuh,"
Oh, yeah.
or like, or they just don't say it, but you know that was what gonna say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
It's a good time.
I'm excited.
It's a good time.
Family friendly.
Now for the
family friendly.
it's not. No, it's not. I watched that while playing Fallout 4.
Ooh, that's a good combination.
So I remember what I was doing in Fallout while I was watching Hamilton. I was doing the Nuka World DLC.
Oh, nice.
Huh, fun.
Yep, I kept having the game crash trying to go through a door
Ooh, that's.
when
You had mods?
stuff happens with Alexander's son.
Did you have mods on?
Oh, so many.
Okay, yeah.
Anyway, new wheel decision. I'm gonna
Oh, yes.
overlay the wheel. Bah! Right there. Anything catch your eye?
Marvel.
Let's do Marvel.
Okay, yeah. Let's do Marvel.
We we haven't really done a Marvel since Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Oh,
And
yeah.
we could get WandaVision with this, which I did put on the wheel, but we didn't spin it.
Or we could get Hulk again.
You get Hulk again?
And we get the ninja episode.
Get the ninja episode where he's a cyborg ninja with 8 arms.
Yeah.
Gosh, that would be great.
Is that an
So
actual
good.
episode?
Yeah,
don't
the
know.
Incredible Hulk. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Oh my god.
It's fun times. Thank you all so much for listening. We will be watching Hamilton, and we will be spinning a Marvel wheel, which is everything Marvel. So
Ooh,
that
that's
includes
a huge list.
that includes Disney Junior stuff as well. So we might get
A kid's show.
Iron Man and Friends or whatever.
Oh, no.
Marvel
Oh.
Super Friends.
Oh.
Could get that Spider-Man show again.
Oh, no. Oh, what have we done?
What Spider-Man show?
Oh, it was like a 2015 one, 2017 one, I think.
Yeah, it's like Spider-Man, but he's really, really, really annoying.
What a description.
If you like
the
the
only
show,
accurate one.
please give us a review on
A good review, please.
iTunes or whatever. That one person who gave us a 1-star review on iTunes, I will find you. Share it with your friends. You can send your reviews or comments to WhereStreamsComeTrue@gmail.com or at Studio76WSCT on Twitter. You can submit a wheel such as a category or search term on Disney Plus, and you send in your review. We'll read it on the show.
Yes, we will read that on the show.
Yeah, we will.
Probably not me because I'm not good at reading.
I
You
try
went to
my
fancy
best.
charter school.
Either I stumble over a word or IMDb stumbles over a sentence.
It's IMDb typically.
Yeah, typically.
I'm good at math, not reading.
And that's why you went to the charter school.
That's why. And that is the episode. Bye.
Bye.
No.